the white speaker. I haven't painted her up before, so at least this pose. This is one of the original King of Death minis. But I'm gonna see what I can see how I can do it. Most of the time, I'm pretty dumb about this sort of thing. But so she's a fairly simple sculpt though, as far as I know from the build. I'll also kind of go over the cards that are in it. Alright. I love... Ooh, that I wasn't expecting. Huh? Okay, so... Yeah, there's her art card. And she's got a couple of items. Bloodskin. When you depart, fill the bloodskin and gain 2 bleeding tokens at the start of each of your acts to remove 1 bleeding token. Okay. Assume that just means you have more blood. Speaker cold knife. Deadly sharp. While insane and not wearing armor or accessories, you gain +2 evasion, +2 strength. Interesting, because that basically is the exact same as she is. Oh, and they're added to the rulebook? I've just never seen them. Out of all the white box ones, I've never seen I've never seen these. Where's for trade, bloodskin, and then the white. Paste the included sticker on the white speaker story event. Interesting, and then they even show you where to put it. That's cool. Interesting. Getting better every time. I wonder if those stickers are any good for the old rulebook. But she's very different in the fact that... Oh, actually, I'm very happy about that. I was wondering if the platform she's standing on would be in the way. But it looks like it's not. So that's nice. So I didn't want to put her on a plain base. I want to put her on like a cobblestone base. Or a tiled base. And I've got one over here somewhere. So that'll be fun. Let me make sure... There we go. So yeah. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. I'm going to go grab the other base so I make sure I have that. I believe I have one up here. Yep, I've got one. So here's one of the, and this is for you, Jason. This is going to be one of the bases you'll get in the mail. This one's clear. You won't get any clear ones, but shaving the edges. There we go. So, that's set. I'll cut these out because despite the fact I'm not going to use it, it's still useful. Having an extra Kingdom of Death base for eventually. Oh, that's weird. I'm not used to that on the lip there. There we go. So, cut that out. Looks like I'm going to have a lot of cleanup on this mold, but that's okay. As usual, I just try to gauge where everything is. It's really easy to cut out pieces you shouldn't. Especially since so many of the women have heels. Sometimes where it joins with the mold isn't here, it's on the heel. And I've done that a couple times, and it's horrible. So I'm just cutting everything out now. Anything that looks like a cloak, you just stick with the cloak. And you can kind of look at the art on the left side too. It's always good to pull up the art and any pictures of the model. The armor kits are a little more difficult, but what I do with the armor kits is just get out all your cards from the core game. And you should be able to find the different armor pieces, and that'll give you an idea of how they're supposed to be. And as far as I can remember, there are parts in the book too that have some armor set looks to them, and then there are the different crafting sections in the book as well. So I'll pull that out when I start doing the armor sets. Yeah, like this part here, I think that's part of her leg on one side, so I gotta be careful about that. It looks like she has 2 heads. I actually love the one with the blindfold. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to double check her hair. Yep, see? There's a peg on this one. And there's also a peg on this one. But it doesn't look like there is. So I was tempted to cut it right off next to her scalp. But you don't do that. It's like right there you can still see it. That way you keep that peg. And I'll cut out her regular head too. I'm starting to get a pile of extra bits. So, put that over there. And then her spear. I wonder how that works. Can't tell from her. Yeah, no, it's her palm is open, so that should be pretty good for just gluing the spear in. And that's why there's a peg. You can see the peg hole for her hair. Yeah, before I've been doing, yeah, they're pretty cool. I like your, didn't you do the first white speaker, right? Isn't that what you did for your, conversion? See, I love these sprues because they're round. They actually are great for spikes on things because then you can just cut them and then shave off the end and they're still rounded. You can do that with other sprues too, but the problem with Games Workshop sprues is they're all at an angle. These are nice and round, so I'm probably going to keep these. Probably going to keep this just for potential settlement development later. Now the fun begins. I got to figure out how to put this together. So I'll start with the torso because that's the easiest. Looks like I've got some spots already I've got to figure out. And I may have to get my files, but for now this should be alright. So I'm going to... There. You can see just the top part. I've just got... You can use a regular razor blade, but I've got a dull one. That way I can pull towards me. Give myself more control. But if you're using a regular razor blade, just be careful. It's easier to use a file and just carefully do the file rather than cut yourself. So, but that's why I keep a dull razor, so I can do stuff like this. It's just easier for me until I switch my razor blade out and forget that it's new, and then my thumb, before, whenever I get a new razor blade, it'll have lots of slits in it. I don't get myself bad, but it's always I could always do some criminal activity and get away with it. Not really. I'm sure they're smart enough to realize, hey, that's just a cut on your finger. What, the one I'm working on now? Possibly. He may have redone it though, in terms of how it goes together. Since I think this is a new mold, but it may not be. I'm not sure. Yeah, see? There. So I gotta be careful about this because when I trim this little bit off, sorry. Yeah, when I trim that little bit off, sorry, my hands, I work a lot and my hands are all torn up. There's super glue on that thumb, and yeah. I will never be a hand model, but I'm okay with that. Yeah. There. But see, it's on the edge here. It's really easy to get stuff you're not supposed to. And then you'll have to add green stuff or something to fill that gap. Yeah, because now, yep. Now it should be a pretty good fit. But, like I said, there may be a slot like this one. Yep, there you go. I was looking because I'm like, I'm supposed to go here, and it looks like it does. But there's a hole. It's like, why would there be a hole? Because of that weird sectional piece that I saw earlier. So it looks like it's the other way around. There we go. So it looks like it's for this. So. Yep, she's got a belt. So. Again, and that's the other reason. I could see it on one side. There's this slight indentation. Can't really see it, but there's a slight indentation on this leg, and that matches up with her belt right there. So little hints that you can do to figure stuff out. And this is supposed to be smooth, so again, be very gentle. A layer at a time is pretty much all you need to take off until it's smooth. No, about the worst one was right in my palm. I have good reflexes. You can kind of you can't really see it, but there's a scar there. I have good reflexes, so of course when I drop this, I immediately try to catch it like an idiot, and I stab myself right in the palm. Still hurts sometimes. So now, anytime I'm using the blade, I'm like, I gotta tell myself in the back of my mind, if you drop it, let it fall, get out of the way. Don't try to catch it like an idiot. Alright. I was gonna refill this, but actually having a little less glue in the bottle is a good thing, because it'll give me more control as I try to glue this together. And one thing to remember too on these is there are mold lines. You can kind of, let me see if I can get it in the light. There's like a seam right around here. The problem I've had before is they're not very noticeable until you prime them. But I use polyurethane primer, so I can't really sand it after. So it's better to figure that out now. Again, just a little dab of glue. There. She's lined up. You can see the curve is correct on the leg. Even though I can't see it on her pedestal, I can still see it there. Yep. Yeah, it's hard when the muscles can't connect back together. Still hurts sometimes, but I hit a nerve. There's not much you can do about that. Alright, same thing here. There's a piece on the edge that I just gotta file away. This one should be a little easier fit than the last one was. So I think it's just one side, and the peg hole should be there. Yep. Yep, there we go. Right there. One thing to remember here too is there's a little bit of give. You want it as tight as possible on there, and that little bit of a gap is actually fine, because it'll give some depth to her underwear basically, so it'll look like it's actually tight on her body. A little more realistic that way, which is weird because they don't typically go for that where the separate parts meet. Well, that's just probably a way they cheated to make it look a little more real. Like I said, as you're building, be aware for those. Yep, there's the other foot. It's like, I knew it. The back side. That's where I had to worry about the connection. See how it is on the front now? Yeah, that's fine. There's that little bit of gap, that's fine. It's going to look more obvious on her butt, so just try to get that. Cool. Alright, don't forget to file the stuff off on the bottom of her foot. I'm not going to do that yet because I need it to settle. So legs are done. I'm going to do her hair now and her neck. So her neck, there's this little nub. I'm going to dry fit that first though. See how it's supposed to go in. Because that little nub might be useful. And it is, look. I was about to file that off. But it's supposed to be there. Actually is a peg to fit in that hole. Like I said, just make sure that you double check some of these things. Sorry, I'm really concentrating. Not really. It's just one of those things that you gotta actually hold it. It's like, dang it, I don't want to hold it. But if you don't, then it'll come off at a weird angle and not be straight. Again, now I want to attach the hair, but I don't yet until it's a little more dry. So I'm gonna move on to one of the arms, and it looks like her knife is behind her. So I'm gonna go grab that arm and see. Looks like I need some cutting work, but I want to make sure. I think it's this way. I'm not quite sure. Maybe this way? Oh no, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. Because if you look, If you look at the hand, it's actually holding the blade in the left hand. So it's on that side of the body. So let me trim. It's pretty obvious to me what's what here. But you can see this band. There's like armband. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, the armband at top. Just make sure you don't get that, because that's part of the model. It's tricky though, because it's right at the point where it should be something else, but it isn't. There. Yeah, that doesn't sound very good. I certainly don't recommend that. Oh. Alright, it's already dry fitted, so I'm going to actually attach now. Carefully. Not too much glue, just a little drop. Alright, I just want this to mesh properly. You can see the straps on her shoulder, holding what little clothing she has on. See what I mean about things drying? I didn't wait, and her head came off. It's okay, I can reattach it later, but just gotta be careful. Yeah, that's weird. Just trying to gauge where her arm is. A little tricky. Doesn't want to hold on the way I want it to. But I don't want to spray it with an accelerant, any hardening agent, until I know exactly where it's supposed to be. Alright, kind of see where I'm going with that. Just a patience game with these. Some of them should have peg holes and they don't. That'd be a lot easier. Because there's a certain way to fit it, but it's just being problematic, basically. Okay. Well, now that her head's off, I'll apply the hair. Nope. The part where I cut it off is a little bit too deep. There. Just making sure that peg hole, the peg itself, is actually not too tall. So that way when I attach it, it'll fit perfectly in this hole. Nope. Dang it. And her hair. Would have been a pain in the butt to file that little part off later. There we go. Set that aside. Alright, now I'll work on her other arm. Okay, this one's really weird. Really weird. You can see the angle. That does not look like a shoulder at all. But before that, I'll make sure that the arm is cleaned off. Okay. And then dry fit it. Now this one should go in pretty easily, if I can figure out what I'm doing. Looks like that's where it goes. It's weird. That's where it goes. There. Now the legs should be good, so I can trim the bottom of this off. Dang it. Patience. Apparently I don't have any. Just trying to hold it nicely here. There. It looks like the top has literally got something in it to make it work. And I believe it's this side because the other side is deeper, but maybe it's a... No, it's a symmetrical shape, so doesn't matter which side I put this in. Okay. I'll do it on the nice side. There, nice and flat. Cool. Now I'm going to kind of look at... Let's see if I can find... I'm going to kind of look at the image myself to get an idea. So let's turn it away from her. I want to put it in a spot that's a little open. So I'm going to go right here. Give that a shot. Yep. I'll probably put some terrain down at the bottom so that this part here doesn't need to be shaved off because it won't matter. Look where I was before. Don't you love it when they stick to you rather than the actual model? Might need some green stuff for this. Or, if I'm smart, shave off some of this terrain that's already down here. That's the nice thing about some of these bases is you can work with it a little bit. Yeah, that'll give me a little more space. Hopefully it's enough. If it doesn't work, I'll just get some green stuff. It is a clear base, but it won't stay that way, so. Okay, now that that's on, let's see what it looks like. Cool, I like it. Alright. Yeah, that's part of the bases that I have in the Revlo store. That's one of them. It's like cobblestone. Now here is where this accelerant comes in. Let me put... Actually, you know what? I don't even want to put her head on. I was going to say, let me put her head on, but no. So, let me get all my painted minis out of the way here. Yeah. I'll just spray it down here. You can still see it on camera. This is Insta-Set. It works perfectly with super glue. So, that should... I'll give her a minute, but that should make her a lot more stable. Now, I gotta think about her cloak. Again, I'm gonna look at the photos. Hopefully I have a reverse look. Nope, I don't. Alright, so I gotta try to not throw the parts everywhere. Step one, don't throw the pieces. Or if you do, find them. What? It just, I saw it fall, and now it's just gone. What the heck? It's in my shirt? I can't tell. It's in my slipper. The heck? How did it get in my slipper? Okay then. I'm either very accomplished or very stupid. Can't tell which. Probably the very stupid part. Yeah, the Insta-set, you can look it up. It's an accelerator. I'm just trimming up all the parts for her fur. Hey, Robert. I have absolutely no idea how this goes on. So we'll figure it out together. Let's see. Okay. You can kind of see what's an edge and what's a seam. The seams will have this double edge. Nope. I think I've matched one. Slippery little buggers, but there we go. There's a match. Nope. Saw what looked like a... Yep, it's on this side. It looked like it wasn't matching, so I was like, why not? There we go. Here, I'll show you again, Weezaster. Give me a second. Let me attach this. It's actually a good question. Half of this is the angle, just so you know. If it doesn't look like it fits, the angle's wrong. Because it's a curve. See that? There we go. Much better. And now it looks like the other side is this weird jagged edge here. But the accelerant I use is this Insta-set. That's just where I got it when I used to live in South Dakota. But it's an accelerator for cyanide acrylate glue, which is basically super glue. And the forget what company it is, but you can look up cyan or acrylate glue, or if you type in !glue into the chat, it'll pull up the glue I use, and you should be able to find the link from there. Alright, again, dry fitting. It's weird. Ah, that's why. I've got it upside down, I think. Yep. See that weird edge? Yep, that's why. Okay. I think that's a mold. Can't tell if that's a... No, let's fit it and find out. I'm confused. There's this little tiny nib here. I'm trying to see if that's part of the... Not sure. Yep, it is. It's not part of the mold. It's something I gotta shave off. There. Alright, there we go. We got our dry fit. I normally don't do cloaks on these, but this one's actually kind of sparse. And then the Twilight Night, I want to do the cloak. There, now I gotta figure out how to attach it. I think it goes right on her neck. Right here. Yep, I think so. Alright, I'm gonna have to attach that and figure it out. Yep, see you later, Panda. Yeah, she's pretty stable now since I sprayed it. So I'm gonna attach a little more glue than I'd planned. So it's a good thing the head fell off. Nope, nope. Dang it, not quite done yet. I need to figure out what this is. There's this part and her spear left. This, I think, is part of her hair attachment. Maybe? Looks that way. Not quite sure, to be honest. I'll have to figure that out. Because it's not part of her cloak, as far as I know. As far as I can tell. It's not part of her cloak. There's not another weird edge. This looks a little more like her hair, which is weird, but you can see the similarity here. See that? Pretty similar. Oh, I have to look at a photo. See what I can find out from the source art. Ah, that's it. It goes on the front of her. Okay. Well, that means I can attach the head. So. Yeah, it really fits the Twilight Knight. That's why I'm not. Normally I don't, like on the white speakers. I haven't done it on any of them. But on the Twilight Knight I feel like it. Really? Did I attach her hair wrong or something? Yeah, I must have. It's weird. I don't think so. She doesn't want to go on. Nope. Yep, it's tilted off to the side. So I gotta break that off, unfortunately. There we go. Looks like her neck fit with her cloak, so I'm going to glue a little more on her neck here. There we go. It's awesome. Pretty good. Now I can attach this, but I gotta be careful. Because first of all, when I took it off, there's a little bit of glue left over. Dang it. I knew it. It's a little bit of glue. That's gonna create problems for me later. I'll attach her head again for the 4th time. At least this way you can see the mistakes I'm making and not make them yourself. Is the hope. Like I said, now I can glue this on though. Carefully, but I can. I'm guessing it's at this angle, so because it's blowing in the wind or something. Just like her cloak, actually. Her cloak's at a nice angle too. Okay, I'm trying to mash up. Before I went on pretty easily, but since I've glued it a couple times, it doesn't quite want to go on. So I've got to, in a way I've got to force it, but in a way I don't. So the angle of the squares, there's a point going this way. So I got to find a point that goes that way as well, which is right there. I think, yep. There we go. Cool. There she is. Alright. Now, normally I don't want to paint this because it'll get in the way. But, at the same time, you don't have to keep holding this thing while you paint it. It's really weird. But, I've got to find an angle for this. So, right in the middle. Do I want to go over here? I want to look at the source art. And hers is pointed... Wow, it's literally on the ground. I don't like that. So, the source art is literally this. Which I'm not sure I like. I don't know, what do you guys think? The actual, like, build on the site is this. But let me see if I like it another way. I think maybe further, because then it's not too much in front. I like that. Like right there. I think that's about right. Yeah. Yeah, I think in her hand. Or resting in her hand? Yeah, see that? She's not gripping it though. Yeah, I like the way I did it. Yep. There. Hold it for a second. Actually, what you can do first, what you can do is put a little extra in her hand, and then let gravity be your friend. Or you can cheat and spray the thing with this Insta-set. Spray the spear, and then let gravity be your friend, and turn it upside down. Boop. There. See? I can just leave it there for a second. Now I'm not fighting the thing that was pulling it out of her hand. I'm letting it work for me. But yeah, that stuff sets really quick. So, yeah, there she is. Pretty good. I love the pose. The pose kind of makes it for me. I like the way, I like a lot of the minis, but I like the more narrative sculpts that he did in the last Kickstarter. Because they have poses like this that are pretty cool. With like matching terrain and stuff, and it was pretty awesome. But just be careful, because it looks like the hand is, and the fingers especially, are pretty fragile. If you really want to, after the tutorial, you might, I think I have another one of her, so if you want to trade me for something, we can do that, and then you can have 2 of them. And then next time, maybe you'll build it one without the cloak, or with a different head, and then you'll have 2. 2 Amazons. She's very Amazonian, I like it. I'm actually excited for the new Wonder Woman movie. She's such a badass. I love Gal Gadot, though. Her portrayal of Wonder Woman is pretty awesome. I love how she just doesn't give a shit about Bruce. She's just like, whatever. I'm better than you. Yeah. But that's it for this. Gonna take a pause here. And then I'm going to stop recording anyway, and then I'll start building the Twilight Nate.